Okay.
Love the beard, Russ.
I guess Vin is missing too, isn't he?
Yeah, Vin's not here.
I think Russ is still muted.
He is.
He is, but that's okay. We're not asking him to participate just yet. So
Yeah.
I'm calling the meeting to order. I'm going to, Vanessa, I have to read this.
That statement from the governor, yes.
Okay. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GLC 30A 18, and the governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Southborough Council on Aging will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Southborough website at https://www.southboroughtown.com. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch or participate in the meeting may do so in the following manner by finding the meeting at https://www.southboroughtown.com/remote meetings. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on Southborough's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. So again, we're calling to order. I'd like to, I missed one piece here. Has everybody had a chance to look at the meeting of the minutes of the September meeting?
Yes.
So
Yes.
do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes of the meeting for September.
Second,
Who was that second? Brent?
Brent,
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
No, you got to do a roll call.
Right.
All right. Carol,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes.
Russ,
yes.
Brent,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Pam,
I don't vote.
Sandra,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
All right. Any, I have another person, another William H. Harrington up there. Is there another person on?
You should have two of me.
I don't know why you have two of me. I'm only one here.
Okay. Well, motion carries, so approved.
Oh, you know why?
Yes.
Maybe I may have inadvertently logged in as Bill from his email.
Yes, you
Yeah.
were.
So moving on to the Friends report.
Okay, the Friends donated 10 $25 gift certificates for the walking challenge. The Mass Council on Aging canceled the walking challenge for the statewide program, but we chose to continue it. So the Friends were very kind to give some gift certificates like the state normally does. So that was that. The virtual golf tournament is doing very well, and Joan thinks that this time that they probably will become close to what they average on an annual basis with their fundraiser. So that went along successfully. So that's about all that we have right now for the Friends report.
Okay. Can you give us an update with the, okay. Why don't we do the Trailblazers while you're still going at it?
Oh, okay. We got the okay from the Board of Health to do some outdoor hiking, and the whole group the other day wanted to give a big thanks to Pam because she really was instrumental in helping us move forward and do that. And so we are now, we have planned 6 hikes, 3 in October and 3 in November, I guess. So we are planning, and they're going to be local hikes. so that, we're close by, we're just going out for, 2-3 miles, and then be able to come back home, if we need, certain things. We have very strict guidelines that we're following. And again, they were approved by the Board of Health. And I took them off the state website about outdoor activities. So they pretty much flow through what the state. And then we had one additional recommendation from the Board of Health nurse, Emily. And she said, make sure that any town that we go to, that we follow their guidelines also. So that's what we've done. So we put together those guidelines, and right now we're keeping it just to the original email list, because we don't have emergency information on anybody who might be new. So that's what we're doing.
You've been getting good participation.
Yes, we've had our Zoom meetings, and we probably have, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 people that come in and, are there. And again, through my emails, I send out and, get responses from people that way. But yeah, there's probably going to be, 10 or 12 of us maybe that will, do some of these hikes.
Good, thanks. The Bay Path, Joyce is not here. A quick report is, there's not a whole lot new there. They've hired a new director of human resources. They've been recruiting pretty heavily. They have managed to increase some salaries where we were having some turnover. Hopefully that will help prevent it. And they're really making moves to make sure that the workforce sort of gets really much more stabilized than it has been in the past, particularly client-facing positions. Everything else is going along well. I actually had Joe Quirk on my Frank and Mary show the other day to let people know that they're still in business. Meals on Wheels is going with 3 deliveries a week, and they know they should. They have a new phone system, so you can dial people directly in, and you have to wait for to get a phone call back from somebody, which makes it really a lot more efficient. The legislative report, since I used to do that, I'm not doing it anymore. Do I have a volunteer to do the legislative report? It's not necessarily a lot of, very complex. I would, I had some familiarity with it because I was working with Bay Path, but you can also Google, mass legislation, for senior citizens, current ones, and the information comes up, or go on the mass.gov website. It's not heavy lifting, but it's nice to know if anything is going on. Although in the time of COVID, I don't think there's much new legislation for seniors per se. But can I have somebody that would at least sort of check that out on a monthly basis? All right. Mike, what do you think?
I don't think.
They're perfect for this then.
Yeah, I'm perfect for lots of things. That's not one of them.
All right.
I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
I'm not sure what all is involved, but I will.
All right.
I'll give it a shot.
All right. You and I can talk. Like I said, it's really just going to either the mass.gov website or Googling see if there's anything going on in the legislation. There's not all that much legislation proposed.
It's just related to seniors, is that?
For seniors, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll give you another one too. There's some other emails that come out that talk about what's going on in a broader scale about dementia-friendly communities, et cetera. So moving on to new business, future programming. Pam?
Okay. I apologize. I took my laptop home and collected all my stuff. I've been working in the office almost every day. And the one thing I forgot was the copy of the new newsletter. So I'm gonna have to rely on my memory here.
Okay.
So we are basically following the same format, just to get some kind of a pattern going. We have at least 3 or 4 cable programs that are going to be on there. That's what I can't remember is the names. I know there's a couple of history ones on there, and I think, I know there's a holiday music one on there. I wish I could remember because Peg, well, you'll see when you get the newsletter, she puts together a really good variety of cable shows, a little of everything kind of thing. And so far, the feedback has been, positive. We haven't gotten a huge amount of feedback, but we're hoping that catches on and people get used to kind of looking it up and, leaving themselves a note when to watch it. So, we're going to kind of stick with that for this round. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Have you guys seen any of the cable shows?
I watched them both.
Okay.
I thought they were both very good. The one was the night sky thing, or I think that's what, or the first one. No.
Yeah, that was a while
No,
ago.
the first one was the roads and whatever, the roads.
Right.
And then I just watched this most recent one with the phantoms and the ghosts and thing, and they're very interesting. So they're fun to watch,
Well, thank you for checking them out for us. It's,
Mhm.
I know that the one on memory got some real positive feedback. And Peg said it was excellent. I mean, I don't know if anybody saw it, but that sounded really good. So we may rerun that eventually because, hopefully more people will start watching. It was the people that were in the class. I guess he didn't push, he has a book, but he didn't push it. But anyways, there was a number of people that were interested in the book, even Peg was. So we purchased some of those. So when we rerun it, and for the people in that class, so they can borrow the book. So Peg was really pleased with that. So I think we'll do it again, maybe in the dead of winter. Hopefully more people will be watching by then. So I think it's going to take a little time for that to really connect. But I think she's made some good choices. When you look at the whole layout of the combination of the cable, the Zoom, the drive ups, I think we've got a good variety. So for the moment, that was the pattern we're going to stick with. There are going to be 3. Normally there's 4 drive-throughs, but there's going to be 3 because of the holidays. It was hard to schedule them and not schedule them on top of themselves. So there's going to be a breakfast drive-through, another one it's going to be a breakfast sandwich and some fruit. The other ones are going to be, which I'm a little nervous about, is the veterans program, which is going to be, we always do kind of like a heavy lunch. So it's going to be stuffed pork chops, and we're going to do a holiday dinner, and it's going to be between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I believe it's early December, and that's going to be a turkey dinner. Little concerned just because of the volume. I think we're going to get, especially the turkey dinner, I think we're going to get a lot of phone calls. So we'll just have to see how many people we can handle on that. I've got a feeling these other ones have been heading towards 100 people. So those I think may go higher than that. So we'll figure it out how to handle that. I think it's going to be real busy. So far, the drive-throughs have been successful. This last round for the Halloween and those types of things they're full.
I participated in a couple, and I want to compliment. They were very good.
Good, thank you. What did you think of the breakfast one? That was the first one we did. Was that yesterday? Yeah, I think it was only yesterday. You didn't do that one?
I didn't do that one.
It was very good. It was very good. And nice that you had the little apple in there too, to offset the scone, but that was very good. Very tasty.
We're trying to do the healthy type of thing, so a little bit if we can.
Mhm.
So, I like the variety of the breakfast and the lunch. We're just trying to vary them as much as we can, and not make them boring. Like the veterans one, I'm not sure if we're going to do a goodie bag with that. I think we may switch it up and do like a nice dessert with it. And the same thing with the holiday one, kind of get away from the goodie bag thing a little bit and then come back to it. One of the ones that we have planned for January is a safety one. We're going to involve fire and police. Hopefully some of those guys can come over and help us hand them out and be there when we do the event. And that's going to be kind of a bag with like health related type of things. We have the main thing will be one of those the lanterns. I think you guys have them or have seen them. they're really great lights in case the power goes.
Yeah.
I've been using that all weekend, couple days long. It's perfect. I could light up my whole room.
Yeah, because in my opinion, things like the candy, people may disagree with me, but you know, the kids stuff, I think
Yeah.
you can do away with that stuff. Maybe other people like that stuff, but you know,
Do you have any other, if you have ideas, let us know.
I still have the 2 Tina Bemis pots on my back porch. I'm still enjoying them. They're like long lasting stuff. So it's, the food stuff is great, but the non-food stuff is also great.
Yeah, that's the hard, we're trying. There's another Tina Bemis coming up. I think it's next week.
I don't think we signed up for that because I'm up to here with Tina. You know,
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
I just
that's why.
got so much of her stuff. I don't have room for more. But
Yeah, I'd like to do,
her stuff
it
really,
is the
really
same
nice.
people. So I'd like to try something else. We've got a line on somebody that does like craft kits and
Yeah.
things like that from one of the other towns. But yeah, no, that's where we're kind of looking for
That was
ideas.
really nice.
Anything that's different, we're trying to grab onto. So if you come up with anything, let us know. You know, happy to try anything different. So going in the winter, I mean, it was cold this week out there, the wind and stuff a little bit. So we're gonna have to dress warm. So we're gonna try to carry this through the winter, month by month. You know, comes with problems with the weather. We've tried to figure out a backup plan, you know, in case we do one and then the weather looks bad. We don't want to lose, we don't want to lose the money. It's a lot of work to cancel something and reschedule it. So it's going to be interesting. That's going to be kind of trial and error as far as that's concerned. But I would like to take it as often as we can through the winter, because that fits with, there's an overall plan, basically. Like I said, there was a plan with how that newsletter was laid out. There's a plan as far as all of these things are technically outreach programs. I know they're fun, but so we've got the drive-through programs that reach the people that can get out and about and want to get out of the house. We have the other end of the spectrum where we've got the caregiver meal delivery, and then we tacked on the frail, more frail elders on top of that. And then the other piece that we're putting in starting the week after next is kind of a middle of the road piece. People that are in, kind of, better shape, but might be in a more isolated situation going into the winter. So I've gathered up, fortunately, it's pretty easy to get volunteers to do deliveries and things like that. So we've got kind of Lisa Braccio and a couple other people on that, and different people doing some deliveries for that kind of middle of the road isolated program. And we're going to do I know, Carol, I wish we could find some more healthy things. Again, we're back to the bakery and kind of like a little treat bag with some cookies and a brownie and stuff. Just something for the volunteer to bring, just to test it out and see how that goes. We may switch that up to a meal here and there. It's going to be kind of a random. We're starting off with once a month. We may end up going twice a month or moving some of those people to the other list. We're just going to wait and see. Cindy and I went through the census and we went through our list of people, and it is subjective as far as picking out these people. We started with over 80, the list of over 80, and we're working our way backwards. So if anybody knows anyone that would fit in any of those lists, let us know. We're also putting that information out on my Southborough. We're putting it in the newsletter, basically to try to generate in case there's people we missed or, people would like to go on those lists. So that's basically, I'm trying to cover those bases and kind of those 3 sections at this point. So at least we have contact with the over 80 crowd. We're also sending a letter to anybody that we cross-referenced my senior center with the census a while ago. And we've got a bunch of people that we can't identify. We don't know who they are. We don't know if they're in town. A lot of them on that list were Carriage Hill, so they may have moved and people we never knew, or they may be people that are living with adult children. So what we're going to do is send out a general outreach letter and, with a form to fill out with some information. We'll see what we get back, and we'll see what just gets returned from the post office, and then we can clean up that list. So the goal is to try to touch base with everybody one way or another and make sure they know who we are and, where to call. So I kind of veered off, but that's kind of behind the whole, program schedule is the outreach part of that. So the other things that are coming up, we still have the 2 Zoom fitness programs. One's a stretch class, one's a yoga class. We're holding tight one more session on that. And then the next session, we're talking about adding another class because those so far have been pretty successful. I believe it's the yoga class that's full. The other one has some space in it still, but we're gonna let it run one more session and then we're gonna add to that. So I think, Marianne, maybe you talked to Peg, we're gonna add probably kind of a more strenuous like fitness class, not as strenuous as a Delaney class, but
No,
somewhere
but-
in between.
Yeah,
I think
she said weights, maybe like
Yeah.
Yeah, some.
Yeah, something a little more challenging, because that's kind of, we started off easy. We don't want to make anything too difficult or anything like that. We don't want anybody taking any chances on getting hurt at home, but I think we can push that a little bit. Peg and I were talking about programming a little bit when we come back. We're not sure where we're going to go with that, like with all of our Tai Chi classes and things. We have to take a hard look at the enrollment that we had, how many people were in each class, and see if we want to continue those types of things, because those are progressive, and that the same people over and over again. I'm not sure. I was talking to somebody about Qigong, which I guess is similar, but it's not progressive. So we may end up changing some of those things when we come back. We may end up going with some of the new instructors versus the old instructors. I'm not sure. We'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. But those are all the things we're talking about. So at that point, we're going to be talking to you guys to get some input.
It would be nice if we could do both.
Yeah, yeah. And I do think in the beginning, when things start to get better, we may have to take a hard look at that. I think we'll have a transition period where there's going to be, if there's a vaccine, but I don't think we just can switch over. I think it's going to take people a while to make that transition. So we'll probably at least have to run some of each for a while and then see. Yeah, I think we're just going to have to make the decisions as we go along and see what people want. If people want to continue with the Zoom, we'll continue with the Zoom if there's enough interest. But at least even in a transition, I think we'll still have to do it and pick and choose. So I know it's a negative that everything got shut down, but it's an opportunity for us to, as a group, figure out what the best route is and make some changes. And it's time to make changes, I think, on some of the things. And it's hard to make those changes because even if you have a handful of people that really like that, it may not be the best for the overall picture. And this is a break, and it's an opportunity to kind of at least look at those things. So I think.
Pam, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. If one of the things is that the Zoom instructor is not familiar with Zoom, that maybe approaching an instructor and saying, we'll help you, we'll teach you how to use Zoom, and so that if you want to still continue, because I'm thinking basically of our Tai Chi
Right.
teacher, and I know that she likes to gather everybody around, but she has quite a following with the 2 classes, and I would be surprised if the people in the classes wouldn't like to continue on with her. So
I do think that's going to be something we're going to have to take a look at, maybe touch base back with them. Initially, they weren't interested at all in that and doing a Zoom. That may have changed. We haven't talked to them in a while. So we may reach out. The first thing I want to do is take a look at the list of people that were signed up and how many there were.
Right.
For example, like an advanced class in Tai Chi may only have, I don't even know, might be 6 people, might be 8, might be 10. I have no idea. And are they all people from Southborough? Where are we looking at, look at all angles of that and say, is it worth it for a class like that? Because it doesn't change. It's over and over again, and it takes a slot that something else may be able to. So we're going to have to kind of take a hard look at all of those things.
Because, Tim, when you get down to it, isn't everything progressive? I mean, mahjong, I don't know.
Mahjong, you can add
Pitch.
all of those things. You can add people in, and the instructors are willing to teach and bring people in.
Oh, good.
Yeah, pretty much everything else you can bring people in. Bridge is a little tougher. That really hadn't taken off at the time. That kind of comes and goes. Yeah, we have a problem like with bridge and things like that, but the rest of them, by Joyce, what happened to your picture?
I get the call. I'll decline the call. Oh, I'm back.
Okay, but yeah, most everything else you can join in. And what we've done with Tai Chi is we kind of try to rotate people kind of up the ladder a little bit. And we sometimes extend the beginning class into the summer a little bit to get those people transitioned to the next group. So that's how we've been doing it. I'm not saying we shouldn't continue it. I'm just saying we have to take a look at it and kind of, we all have to sit down when it gets closer and look at the big picture and say, you know, how do we want to do it? It's definitely a big picture question. You know, what do we want to run? How many things do we want to run? And also at the time, how we want to do it. It'll be, if we could do more Zoom classes, that would be great. If people want to continue with it, because we don't have a space problem or anything like that. We'll have to go back, you know, when the time comes and go back and look at the place that took over from Pennant again, try to reapproach them and see if they want to, you know, reboot that class, because that was super successful. You know, but it's inside and it's at the gym. So I think we just have to look at the whole thing when the time comes and you know, see where we want to go with it. So I'm open to whatever we need. Financially, we're in pretty good shape going in with our budget. So I think we're going to have a lot of choices and just a chance to kind of refresh if we want to on some of the classes. We have to be open-minded to all of it at this point. But that's kind of the pattern we want to stick with right now is, you know, the four or five cable, add some Zoom. There'll be some other Zoom classes too. I think Beg has one or two more in there. I can't remember off the top of my head. And start to build maybe some more of these fitness classes and some more of these ongoing Zoom classes as we go into the winter.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have any suggestions.
I
Please let
think
me know.
that's the right, I think that's the right approach, Pam, because in the winter you get bad days when people couldn't
Yep.
come out. Are now, you know, there are some distinct advantages to Zoom. You
Yeah.
know, and one is you can, you know, you could be running 4 classes right now,
Right.
you know, or repeating them, recording them and, you know, and putting them on. So I think there can be some real benefits for some people that don't want to come out or have a hard time, you know, leaving somebody that they're taking care of to
Yep.
come out. So I think it's a good idea, you know, and I
Yeah, I'm
like
trying
that,
to.
you know, so I think that's really good. For those of you who don't know, again, Pam has been coming on now once a month on our Frank and Mary show and talking about updates of what's going on, just programming updates at the senior center. Those are recorded and showed on cable probably 5 times a week. So the hope is that we're reaching people who can't, you know, particularly seniors who are not good on Zoom, to keep updated as to what's going on, or not getting the you know, the material. And you know, we're really trying hard to reach out to seniors through cable, because that's a lifeline for a lot of people, you know, a lot of seniors who don't have the technology skills to be able to get on. So I think again, the programs that you're putting on are going to drive more and more people to that, particularly as the weather gets colder and they're just not going to want to get out, but still want to be able to go to those programs or at least see what's going on. So, you know, the more the merrier, if you can, when you can, you know, if you can afford it.
Yeah, those are really the cable things that are not ongoing are pretty inexpensive. And like you said, they don't take up space. I do think as Joyce mentioned, I think there's you know, going to be an option in some cases to do both. So I think it's, you know, as much as this has been, you know, terrible that we've had to deal with this, I think there's some things that we're going to continue doing. I mean, you know, Zoom cable, maybe, and drive through a little of everything. Even when we are able to transition to outdoor, maybe this spring, maybe we'll be able to do some outdoor programs and that kind of thing. So I think that, you know, doors wide open when we go to, when things are back to normal. I think we look at the whole big picture and decide then, you know, what we want to do, but it's not all bad.
Right.
So the cable especially can, you know, that this was an excuse kind of to really push that down the road. And once people get used to it, even when things are back to normal, it opened that door for people that can't get out
Right.
if they start watching.
Right.
So,
And we have somebody who's really willing to do that and anxious to, you know, get some good local programming. So that's
yeah,
the
Terry,
other-
they've been great. Terry's been amazing. So,
Yeah, he has.
and Peg has just done an incredible job because none of that was simple.
Yeah.
Transitioning, even, I mean, Zoom has been a challenge, but even cable, just the learning curve of getting in the groove and
Right.
finding people that already know what they're doing. And yeah, no, it's been a challenge and she's done an amazing job.
Good.
I have a question to ask. I haven't done any of these fitness by Zoom or anything, so but I am very familiar with Zoom. You know, our church meets this way and everything, so. I just have the question, like, how do you do the exercises and stay within the camera's reach? And I think a lot of people might have that question too. I mean, a lot of people probably would just need a quick lesson in Zoom and make them feel more confident about doing some of these things, or just exactly how to exercise.
It's really just a question of focusing your laptop. I think it's hard to, I've never done it with a phone, but because I do yoga with, actually the instructor is in Brazil. My daughter runs an international, it's called Quarantine Renaissance. She started this international multicultural language and fitness and all this other stuff. Anyway, I do yoga with a woman in Brazil, and it's a matter of putting your laptop in such a position that she can see your whole body, and she can then critique what you're doing so that you're doing it correctly, and it works just fine. And you can also see the other participants, because just as you're seeing the other participants in this meeting, you know, so if I were to do this, you can't see me. I'm moving my laptop so that you can see me, or, you know, it's really just focusing your camera on you. It's very, very, I don't know, common sense, I guess. So it's really easy.
Yeah, you can see the instructor and the instructor can see you.
Yeah.
Marie, when they're doing the class, which is important for the instructor to be able to see the people to make sure they're doing things correctly. I don't know if that answers your question,
Yeah,
but
it does, but I think probably a lot of other people might have the same question.
Yeah.
like-
yeah, I think there's definitely, I'm not exactly sure what to do, but I think I would love to do something that would help more people get involved on that. I'm just not sure exactly how to go about doing it off the top of my head. Like, how do we get more people that are hesitant?
What you could do, Pam, is do a trial, do a demo. You know, run a session like we're doing now and show people.
You could do that on your Frank and Mary program.
Yeah.
That would be a good
Yeah,
Frank and Mary.
Doug, we'll get you
How to do Zoom.
We'll do you. Doug can do yoga and he can demonstrate how to do it.
I do Qigong.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, that's
We'll get you a little leggings and you know, a little outfit.
We'll
that
get
will
Doug a
make you look
headband.
real, make you look official.
We don't do that in Qigong. But Qigong, by the way, the difference between that, you're right, it's not progressive like Tai Chi is, because it's actually much more medicinal and health related than Tai Chi. Tai Chi, you do a lot of different stretching exercises, but in Qigong, the exercises are designed for very specific parts of your body, your lungs, your liver, your heart, your circulatory system, etc. At least that's, you know, it's part of Chinese medicine. So
is that progressive, or is that the type of class where somebody can jump in?
no, you're learning certain movements. So the more you do it, the better you get at them.
Right.
But they're very set, you know, it's much more simplified movements for the most part. and they're focused on specific parts of the body or specific, yeah, like overall health, cardiac health, breathing, etc. So it's not just stretching, it's more focused on.
But a new person coming in, could they catch up
Yeah,
fairly
it's
quickly?
not, yeah.
It's not
Okay.
a,
There are
May
some
I
that
add something?
get more complicated, but there are others that are really pretty simple that
Yeah.
somebody after, 1 or 2 tries would pick up.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was at least thinking about.
With any, back in the day, I did videos, right? Because I traveled a lot and I would do whatever, audio, video, exercise. And they always tell you to sit it out a few times,
Yeah.
watch it, and get more used to just seeing what's going on rather than doing it. I think, Marie, if you wanted to
That's
start
exactly-
something,
Yeah,
Actually, what I can do, Pam, Marie, or anyone who's interested, I can send you the link to this quarantine renaissance and you can see how they do it if you'd like, because this is a good demonstration. And, if you want to see how they do it or even use their links, and there's no reason why the seniors couldn't use their link to do yoga. It's really available to anyone.
Mhm.
But
We take a look.
okay.
the only downside to it is because it's international, the time of day that some of these classes are.
It might work better.
I mean, I do it at 11 a.m. on Sunday. That happens to be very convenient.
Yeah.
But but some
3
of
o'clock
them
in the morning
are
may
in
be
the middle of
great
the
for some
night.
people.
But no, I will send you the link.
Send it
and
out,
you
Carol.
can see what it
Yeah.
looks like. I'll
Yeah.
send it to all of you. And if you'd like to tune in and just take a look at it for 5-10 minutes, there's no reason why you can't.
Yeah, send it out. We'll take a look.
Okay.
One more quick question for you, Pam, and then we'll move on if we're all done. Would you look for sponsors for any of the, particularly like the drive-through? I mean, again, somebody might sponsor the dessert or
No,
something.
I know where you're going with it. Right now, that's not our problem. Right now, I mean, normally we always keep an eye out for sponsors just in general. Right now, just because of the way our budget is set up and our friends group, that's not the top of the priority list right now. We have enough funding. Actually, Peg and I sat down, and I do want to sit down with, some board members and try to go over our budget, because it's kind of the general plan is out the window of how we normally spend the budget on the programs, because we're not doing any of those programs. So basically, I wanted to make sure we had enough money to run the schedule as we have it now. And pretty much it worked out that if we keep to this plan, we can spend down the program budget by the end of June. That is, if things stay the way they are, we can't bring it back inside. We don't want to add a lot of stuff. We don't want to change a lot of stuff. I just needed to get a rough idea of where we were financially as we continue to, go month by month. So doing the 4 drive-throughs for each newsletter, basically two of those a month, paying some of the people for the cable, paying the instructors for the fitness programs that we have. As is, we are fine with the town budget. We do have the friends too that can kick in a lot of different areas. So we do have some leeway there to add some programs and to do some different things. So that is where I was concentrating on. If there are, sponsors out there that want to do some things, it's a prime opportunity for them to pitch in. But right now, I just got a handle on kind of where we are. If we want to add some more things, that's where we could go to the sponsorships. I did talk to, it's not really a sponsorship, but I talked to our vendors that do the food right now, Kennedy's and TJ's, about giving them a boost, a little bit of promotion in our newsletters as far as their winter, trying to get them through the winter kind of thing, letting people know what they have available. And also if they want to put in coupons or a discount, whatever the heck they want to put in, we were willing to kind of support them and put that in the newsletter to give them a boost.
Good idea.
To get more business maybe for the winter. But Yeah, no, we're always, always open to bringing in the sponsors for them to pay for different things. And like the drive-throughs are a good opportunity for that, especially if they want to contribute something, but it wasn't on the top of the list right now, just because we're okay. But as we progress, sure.
Okay.
I have a question. Doug, how do you spell that program that you do, the Chinese one? Is that what it is?
Yeah, you can spell it CHI is one word, and then GONG
Okay.
or QI, whatever you want. It's flexible. So that's the budget. What's the budget update is that we need to get together and go over some of the budgets.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to sit with Doug and Bill and, at least to kind of get the basics down. The other thing, just trying to get a handle on how we're handling this year, with the kind of open-ended guessing that we're doing, especially into the spring. And now our budget for next year, starting next July, is our preliminary budget is due in, I think by the end of October. So,
Yes.
there's a real challenge. I mean, I guess I'm just going to look at that as it's going to be a normal year. I mean, and we have to talk a little bit about, do we want to try to add back that we had a small cut this year. It was I don't know, 4,000 something. And part of that was the conference and things. Do we want to try to add that back in? I mean, we're trying to tell the future for October. We have to talk about those things. It's probably not major changes. The other issue that we have to keep in mind is I am hopeful that they will let us fill the front desk position. At some point, I was trying to. I talked to Mark about bringing back Ellen, who was kind of temporarily filling in part of the time. And that has not progressed at this point. We really could use Ellen to come back on an as-needed basis so we could do some of these big mailings and a lot of phone calls and things like that. More project-based kinds of things, outreach things. As Cindy's, the more outreach calls we do, the better. And it's super time-consuming, and Lorraine is absolutely using up every minute that she has available. So I would love to bring Ellen back now on a temporary part-time basis to do some of them as needed. But I certainly hope that by going into next year that we're able to fill that position, because whether we're open or not, we can use that person. Just a lot of things are really time consuming. So that's another thing that I am concerned about, that we go back into next July intact, at least, with those things. But we have to talk more about it. A lot of it's speculation. So we can get back to everybody after that, but we have to probably talk fairly soon now that we're going into the following year on top of it.
Right. I gave you my times for next week.
Yeah, I have to look at that. Yeah.
Okay.
I have another question. That block down there that says William Harrington, that couldn't be Vin, could it?
No.
I think that's Mike's.
That's me.
Mike's
duo.
double.
So Vin definitely is not here.
Right.
While you're talking about me, could I jump in, Doug? So, because I'm going to have to leave, but I want to talk about the senior center renovations.
Okay.
I had a call from Jason Malinowski, the Capital Planning Committee. They're having a meeting on Tuesday night. They're going to discuss, one of the things is the renovations to the senior center. I talked to him about it. Actually, we are on their radar as far as the renovation to the senior center goes. However, right now, they are talking to the school department about closing a school, maybe Woodward. And what they want to do, they want to keep us on the radar. They know we want to do a renovation to the senior center. But at the moment, he's saying, wait till the end of the year, because at the end of the year, by the end of the year, the school committee or the school whatever is going to make a determination about whether they're gonna keep all the schools open or they're gonna close a school. If they're gonna close a school like Woodward, that might be a place for the senior center. It's high on their list as the use of that building. And there's no sense at the moment of doing a renovation to Carterville Hall if in fact we're gonna be moving in the next, whatever, 2 years, 1 year, 3 years, however the town works. But so he's saying there wouldn't be anything done financially as far as spending money till next spring anyway. So they are keeping us on the radar. He said there's really no need to come to that meeting Tuesday that I had talked to you about going to.
Good.
He said, we know you're out there. We definitely have you on the list, and just hold tight and see what happens with the schools, because that may be the place that we would end up in the next.
I like that idea myself.
So unless somebody feels that we should go to that Tuesday night meeting, at the moment I said, I understand that where you are, you understand where we are. So there's no real need for us to go to that Tuesday night meeting in any force or anything.
Mhm.
So that's where that is. Any questions on that?
Yeah, I just need to know how you spell his last name, Bill. How do you spell Malinowski, his last
Oh,
name?
is this a test?
Yes.
Malinoski.
I think there might be a W.
W.
A W in there.
Yeah, put the W in somewhere wherever it fits.
Bill,
Bill, anything on the bathroom addition?
Doug, did you get a chance to talk to John?
I have not, I'm afraid. I will get something I'll talk to John. They may be feeling the same way. I don't know, but I'll talk to John and see what we can do.
Okay, John, I was, as of yesterday, there's nothing been done in there.
Okay.
And the last time I talked to John, he says, well, you're not in there, you're not using the building, and I've got other
Perfect time to
priorities,
do
and
the
I
work.
keep pushing you back a little bit. And my response to him was, well, now the place is empty, this is a good time to do it. He says, yeah, I know it.
Mhm.
So, and his always response never changes. We're gonna start it in 2 weeks.
Bill,
So
I
it's
just
been going
have
on for 6 months.
one comment on that
Yeah, Mary.
Woodward school.
Yeah.
I just have one comment on
Yeah.
the Woodward school issue, because I can't imagine that the school system would give up a completely renovated and newly built school, even though the enrollment has decreased. You're not going to give up a newly built school unless you're going to build one of like kind. And the only other school that they can put those children in is Neary. And we all know that Neary has not been renovated at all or updated. So, I think that's a pie in the sky. And I know that the community development people, they want to make that, a whole community center. Well, that's wonderful. But, if I was on that school department, I certainly would say, and as a citizen, I certainly would say, I'm sorry, you're not taking a brand new building, school building, and you're going to turn it into a community center and put the kids in, an old unrenovated school. So, I think, unfortunately, they're trying to push this way, but I can't see the school department saying we're going to close Woodward and use Neary as the other school that you put your children.
All I know is, as Jason was, he led me to believe that the school that they're thinking about closing is Woodward. Because I mentioned to him Neary, and he said, well, yeah, we're thinking about that too. But he felt that the school department or the school committee or whatever it is that makes that decision is tending towards closing Woodward. So he said, just hold tight till the end of the year. He says there's still
Okay.
plenty of time
Yeah.
for us to go forward with Carterville Hall in the spring, if in fact that all falls through or
Okay.
whatever. But
Oh, well, okay.
that was his suggestion
Yeah,
at the
we'll
moment.
see.
Yeah.
Chances are what they're likely to do is put them temporarily in Woodward, renovate Neary or rebuild Neary, then move them back to Neary. We're still talking several
Well,
years. That's the
This
path.
is all school
All- it's
department
all
stuff
up in
that
the air.
we don't have any responsibility for.
Right.
for
We,
what-
we have to wait and see.
We
you
just have to
wait
keep
and
this
see
on the
right now. We still have time, as Jason said, in the spring
Yeah.
to move forward if in fact the school doesn't do anything with the closing of the schools.
So
Is
Doug,
Assabet still working outside and whatever?
No, that is another thing that he mentioned is the fact that Assabet's now gonna be behind schedule.
Right.
So,
Right.
so any renovations that they were gonna do is way out there at this
Yeah.
point.
Thank you.
We'll just keep this on the agenda every month.
Yes.
If there's no movement.
10 more years.
But at least we need to know, I don't think they're gonna be moving fast to, until they resolve this. They're not gonna give us much leeway. I can't imagine.
Well, see, I'm thinking of downsizing. We could use my house as a senior center and
Rent it out, sure.
really, this would make a nice senior center.
Can we add a bathroom to it?
We have 3 bathrooms. Is that enough?
Oh, that's
already
more than the
ahead.
senior center.
I mean, we have in ours.
What about Del Prisco? Maybe he can do something for us,
Oh,
house over
yeah,
there.
we can go to the Burnett House
The
for,
Burnett House,
Yeah,
yeah.
oh, yeah.
The senior center
That's
there?
looking really good.
that would be
Yeah,
a classy
beautiful.
senior center.
Yeah, well,
We
really.
could all sit out around the
Tables and
pond.
all.
Bill,
We can
get
have
Al
place-
Bezanson on
Place to
that.
put
I
our
think-
horses and all.
Yeah, I get Al on it. He's got an in over there.
Yeah.
The other thing while I have the floor for a minute, I had talked to Pam about giving some recognition to Jim Falcone about all the donations he does for the senior center and the
Yeah.
efforts he's put into it. And one of the things was to put up a sign on the fence in front with, I don't know if you can see this. Does that read?
Yeah,
Okay. Is it backwards to you guys?
No, it's
No,
good.
it's forward.
Oh, it's backwards on my screen. But anyway, a banner like that we were thanking the Falcone Energy for all their donations, and then do a little
Oh, yeah.
3-section sign like the old Burma shave signs,
Mhm.
at which first one would say buy gas Tuesdays, and a little bit further down, 2 cents a gallon donated to the senior center, and then a little further down, Falcone's Pit Stop. So we could put those signs up as a thank you for Jimmy for less than $100 or around $100. And I'm suggesting that maybe we do that if you think it's a practical idea. And
I
Yeah, I
think it's
thought-
great. Do we want to take a vote?
Great.
Yeah, I like
do we
it.
need to take a vote, or I don't know?
I
No, you don't
know
have to
either.
take a vote on that, I don't
it's-
think, but
Just say yes.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
also
Or no.
I talked to Joan about it and she was all for it.
What is it?
Okay.
Cat?
Anybody not
Cattail.
for it?
Cattail. I got a bird.
I think it's a great idea, Bill.
Yeah, I like it a
Yeah.
lot.
I like it.
Okay.
Joan
I'll
was
go
happy
ahead.
about it.
Well, I'll go ahead and put it up. We get it up before the snow
So
flies.
are you
Yeah.
saying on the sign on the, where would it go?
Out in front of the senior center,
On the fence.
on the fence.
Oh, on the fence, not, because I
The
said.
banner,
That's
the
the
banner
sign.
would go on, the banner would be 6 feet long, it would go on the fence.
Oh,
The
okay.
3 signs would be like your political signs on the
Yeah,
little
yeah, okay.
square ones, about 18 by
Yeah, 'cause I
24.
thought you meant on the sign, and I was gonna say, doesn't the sign say something? Yeah,
No.
okay, gotcha.
It won't be on the sign.
No, not on the
It'll
sign.
be in place of early voting.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, and we won't cover up, you've already got the sign covered up with all your beautiful flowers, so.
Oh, but that's on the other side, though.
All right.
We want it on the road sign, right? On the roadside.
Yes, definitely on the roadside.
Okay,
Thanks, Bill. We got to move along.
okay.
We want to cover a few more minutes.
Yeah, we're digging
Thank
into.
you, thank you for letting me jump in, Doug.
You're welcome. It's a good idea. So Shine update, Pam?
Carolyn is busy to say the least. She's basically booked, definitely booked. October is full. Big chunk of November is full. My goal is to keep Carolyn on her feet. I'm going to try to feed her and look out for her the best I can, help her as much as we possibly can, because she has booked 3 days a week, at least 7 appointments a day.
Wow.
Yeah, fortunately, she built in something there for a half an hour break in between for lunch, but I mean, it's an awful lot. So, I want to keep an eye on her and make sure she's doing okay because it's major. It's a major undertaking, more so than even usual. So with
Yeah,
all the challenges that go along with it. Yeah, fingers crossed that we get her through it.
yeah, she's another person that deserves a gift certificate or something
Oh yeah, we
from us for
yeah,
sure.
we always send her flowers from the friends or do something,
good.
and then she usually puts in a special request. Usually some kind of a bottle of something, usually by the end of it. So she, yeah, and we will, you know, try to take care of her on a daily basis, just to keep an eye on her, make sure we're doing everything we can to support her. It's going to be a challenging 8-10 weeks, to say the least. And the rest of the staff too is, and that's going to be crazy for Carolyn, but I'm keeping an eye on the rest of the staff just to make sure everybody's doing okay. In general, as far as the other senior centers and MCOA, everybody's a little bit, you know, keeping an eye to make sure that the employees are doing okay. It's a lot of work. We're reinventing the wheel. We're trying to keep our standards high and do everything we possibly can, but this whole thing has been a big challenge for the staff. You know, there's only so much time Cindy can spend on the phone. You have to pace yourself when you're dealing with these things over and over again, or seniors or problems. And, you know, so I do talk to them about that to make sure everybody's okay. Some weeks are, you know, harder than others. So especially with some of the bigger problems that we have. I mean, behind all the fun stuff we do is a tremendous amount of support and problem solving and assistance on some people that are having a really hard time through this, not just general hard time. They've got circumstances that are super challenging, medical, you know, caregiving. So behind the scenes, that's all going on too. So I'm just trying to make sure everybody's doing okay and support each other through it.
Thanks. Any grant updates? Are there?
I'm waiting on, haven't heard, probably will very shortly, from Southborough Community Fund. I asked to increase the caregiver grant to include those frail elders for the rest of this next upcoming year. That will run out of funding for the caregiver program around the end of November. If there's a gap, the friends I know will help with that. But usually by then they've kicked in and we have money to go forward. I'm hopeful that they will continue at least the basic program. And I'm pretty optimistic that they will do the additional funding so we can keep those people on through the winter. So fingers crossed on that. I did not ask for additional funding from them just because they are also funding the emergency fund that we've been really busy with. A tremendous amount of issues coming in from, I shouldn't say tremendous amount of issues. We deal with non-seniors too with that. We're on that committee. They help us with seniors. We help them with the family. So there's a lot of decisions that are made for that emergency fund as a group. And there's a lot of those get complicated. So we're dealing with that too. The other two grants that we have, I'm hoping they just let us keep. One was the transportation for alternative transportation. And the other one was eventually to bring back some of those cafes that we started with. We did 1 out of 4. The rest of the year, we were going to finish the 4. So I'm not sure what they're going to do as far as that's concerned. The other thing that we will need to talk about when we get into the specifics of the budget is the formula grant and the changes that have come with that. Like I said before, that's a little more open-ended. It's not as liberal as I was led to believe. So we need to talk about all of that.
Okay.
Again, a big picture kind of discussion where it all fits together.
Mhm.
So that's where we are with that.
And the Blue Clinic is coming up?
There's one more, I believe, at least one more. I think there's one more posted for the 22nd, which is seniors, and I believe that's employees to that day at some point. Vanessa.
I
Tell
just
me.
wanted to, yeah, it is the
Oh.
22nd. I just wanted to add, I think there might be one slot left in the morning, but there are slots available in the afternoon. You know, the afternoon was designated for town employees, but of course, if a senior needs to get in there, I'm sure that Emily would honor that. But you know, you do have to pre-register, so just go through that link to sign up.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Where's the link? On the town website?
No, I can send it out, Joyce. I'll forward it to Pam and she can send it out to you. It's not listed on the town website because it's not open to the general public. But I'll send it down to Pam again and she can forward it to all of you.
Thank you.
So the next agenda item is, you talked a little bit about the outreach and the fuel assistance. So
Yep.
it's, and we know it's, I mean, Cindy's really, really busy on the phone
Yeah.
all the time right now.
Yeah, fuel assistance is the other piece that's been busy, and she comes in and out. She's still primarily working from home because it's all phone work. But she has been coming back and forth on days when we do the drive-throughs, just so she can kind of, you know, touch base with us and see the seniors. And and then she comes in and out as far as some of those fuel assistance types of things that she is working with specific people. But yeah, she is, you know, doing as much as you can do. So
Yeah.
it's been interesting. And the other thing, one more thing that she's doing is I asked her to, when we will, again, looking at that 80+ list, to touch base with those people that we weren't sure who they are or where they were. And she's been able to reach probably at least another dozen people, like really put some effort into trying to find out who these people were and really try to reach them. And one way or another, she's been able to connect with probably another dozen people on that 80+ list that we have not been able to reach it with normal channels. So that's been really good. And some of those people have been added to some of those delivery lists. And it's a good way to get to know them, because we didn't before.
Right.
Can
That's pretty hard.
Can I
I gotta get going.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay, so I'm checking out. Bye, everybody.
Hi, Mike.
You know, with the caregiver meals,
Yeah.
The last time, one of the times was coordinated with the Southborough Gardeners flower arrangements, and
Right.
they were delivered to some of the with some of the caregiver meals.
Yes.
And I received the nicest letter from one of the recipients as stating that at this difficult time, it was just so nice to receive both the meal and the flowers. And it just would break your heart to that. It was just so grateful. So it's so worthwhile.
And that is the general, we get a lot of those feedback like that. It's hard to explain to people. Like you said, like that note is hard to explain how like heartfelt it is. And that kind of is what is pushing that kind of middle of the road delivery addition that we're making to that other group of people too. It's people, you know, letting them know that they're not forgotten and that somebody thinking about them. And especially you connect that with the phone call ahead of time that Cindy makes, or now we're gonna have other staff members making the call because of the volume. But that combination, I think, has made a big difference to a lot of people. So thanks. Thanks for sharing that, because that, you know, I'm sure it was conveyed in that note. In person, Sandy can tell us, you know, Sandy tells us what a big deal it is when she delivers the meal. So that's where we're trying to go with as many people as possible. Thanks, Joyce.
You're welcome.
I don't see Sandy here anymore.
No. But she definitely brings up, you know, how that is when she goes to the door, you know, goes and does the deliveries, what a difference it makes. So we're kind of just, like I said, doing as much of that as we possibly can. We're lucky. We're a small town.
Yeah.
We can do it. The big towns, you know, they can't do that.
Right.
They do the best they can in their own ways, but they have to do it on such a big scale where, you know, we're able to do that. We're able to add people. We're able to use these funds that we have And Cindy's able to talk one-on-one with these people and take the time to try to, figure out if they're still there, why we can't reach them. We reach out to a neighbor and say, hey, is this person still there? What's going on? You can't do that in a Framingham or a Marlboro. It's just, you can't.
Right.
So that's been our strength, and we're doing as much as we can.
Well, since Sandy's not here, what about the gardens, Joyce or Carol? Anything?
Well, Sandy and I went over and cleaned out the raised beds. And then I went over this past week and just took out the things that were limping along. You hate to throw them away because they might have a tomato, but you have to do it. This is the time of the year. So they're cleaned out. I did leave the herbs and I left the lettuce just to see if it reseeds itself. Anyway, it's cleaned up, and the raised bed committee is looking forward to next year doing it again and with even more participation.
Oh, good.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, the raised bed garden, sorry, Carol, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The garden situations with you guys volunteering and doing all that work, it's been a great addition, like Sandy's walking challenge, along with the Trailblazers and, all of that stuff. That's all stuff we couldn't do as a staff. I mean, you guys, that's a huge addition to the program schedule that we have. So thank you for everybody that pitches in on that kind of thing.
You're welcome.
Big chunk of program and activities.
Yeah, and the front garden, the DPW delivered much more mulch than I actually needed. So I did go over and finally remove the rest of it. I have it stored in my driveway. If anybody needs the mulch, let me know. But I'm going to do some cleanup this winter. I'm leaving the dead plants. If anybody's wondering why it looks like there's dead plants there, I'm leaving that intentionally for the birds, because they feed on that in the winter. And I'm going to do some thinning out and spreading out of what's there. So, but it's looking pretty good. All that center grew back that the DPW hacked down. So it's looking pretty good again. But we'll see. Anyway, but that's all I have on that.
You gave us a Trailblazers update. Bill left. Dell Men's Group has been meeting every week. We've been rotating to people's houses. We've had what, Brent? Maybe roughly a dozen people at each meeting, and it's worked out really pretty well. So I think that's Bill has done a good job of keeping everybody together, and I think everybody enjoys it. It's been fun meetings to actually see everybody. We bring their own chairs. We have circles marked off, and able to sit until it gets really cold. Today we'll see how many people show up. It is pretty cold. It's getting a little chilly. It's not 50 yet, so that's the update.
His unofficial
What you put in that thermos, Doug.
Yeah, I'm going to get ready now. Yeah, maybe a little Irish coffee. We'll see.
Yeah.
You need a fire pit.
Yeah, I know. Well, we keep shifting homes, so we're at different places all the time. So Jed Waters or Mike Backers, and this is Elliot Simmons this week. So,
well, I'm hoping that by spring we can either give you a roof over your head, or at least let you come into the parking lot and use the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, that'd be fine.
The new one, the new bathroom.
Yeah, the new bathroom. Maybe we can count on that. Let's shoot for April.
2 more weeks.
Again, I think we should, at some point, I wish we had the time to sort of brainstorm some activity suggestions that are like Trailblazers or the other things that don't put a burden on you, but a lot of other people to participate, with volunteers that are doing, a lot of the work. I think they do really add a lot when you think about.
Yeah, that's been huge. I mean, it's been a big chunk that we couldn't have done otherwise. And I think there are other things that we can do. We've been lucky. I mean, we've had great group leaders that can do these things, and made a big difference.
I wanted to mention, Doug, you sent out email, and it was, you had attended a, what was it called? A virtual summit,
Right,
and it was sponsored by the AARP.
right.
And I read through that, and there was a mention of
There
trailblazers.
was, yeah.
And I didn't know if that was referring to our program or if it was just a kind of trailblazers.
I honestly don't know,
Faulty.
to tell you the truth. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised because it was also working with MCOA.
Okay.
So I think.
Like the copyright.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm ready. I think I want to make some money here. So, so this will be good.
I think you should.
But that was a very interesting report. And I don't know if you printed that off, but that might be something that we might want to keep in our files to kind of look at, because it encompasses all those different parts of lifestyle for the senior. And, and we can touch base on that and see how our senior center is, applying,
Right.
our activities and things
Right.
to all those different areas.
Yeah, when I looked at it, I thought we hit quite a few of the high points, I thought.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah, I thought it was great. That's why,
Yeah.
and see, I was thinking like we could use that reference point to tell the town and the townspeople that this is a report from the national and Massachusetts,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and look at what we're doing with our, our senior center. So,
Yeah, I was thinking too of, it's hard to, as a basic first step in that kind of talking to the powers that be, is what I've been meaning to do is take a copy of this newsletter and the next newsletter, and I want to mail that to the Board of Selectmen, so they can see what we're doing. I mean, I would love to let them know that what the plan is behind all of that, and that it's just not randomly done. Like I said, those two layouts of what we're doing in the newsletter, but also how we're trying to touch base with the 3 different groups as far as outreach is concerned. So maybe I'll put together a letter to go along with that. I mean, I was going to put together a general letter and send that out, but maybe I'll do something a little more detailed as far as kind of the overall plan, just because they don't know. I mean, they don't know the details, of course. So, but just to kind of try to keep them informed.
I think
Show
it's a great idea.
them what you're doing, that what we're doing here, because that's important that you're showing during this time that you're rising to the occasion.
Right.
Yeah, and I have a sticky note on my desk, about that. It's one of the things I want to get to. And yeah, like I said, not only send them that, because I think the newsletters really, put a lot into it. I don't know if they'll read them, but I want to let them know that there is a plan behind what, we're not just doing it. There's
Right.
a real plan.
It's a great idea, and I think we can help you with that if you want to.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, it's like I said, it's a sticky note on my desk, so hopefully can get to that in the next couple of weeks.
What I just want to mention that, thank you for bringing that up, Mary Ann, because again, I see a lot of different things. I'm on a lot of different email lists, age-friendly Boston and all kinds of things. So when I see things like that, I'm happy to send them out. If you don't want to read them, don't feel obligated to, but I just trying to broaden everybody's perspective to let them know what's going on, particularly in the state, because we do so much for seniors in this state compared to other states. It's really phenomenal, and I think it's good to keep abreast of it. And so I'm happy to send that around, because there are some really, really interesting stuff going on. As a matter of fact, I was just trying to find it. I saw on LinkedIn, there's a new study going on out of UMass in Worcester, and it's around Alzheimer's, and they're looking for people with both Alzheimer's and without to do a dietary study on them. And so it might be really interesting for some people here to participate or to think about that, or again, just to know what's going on. Some of those, it's very important, particularly for a disease like Alzheimer's, for them as they do these studies to get a baseline, not just people with the disease, but people without it as well. What's preventing it? Where can you have an effect? So, as things come about, I'll send that out to you, but don't feel.
We might want to put it in maybe move towards a little more of a concrete format, Doug. Maybe we can sit down and talk about when you come up with these these things, maybe we can take a small piece of it and use, not a lot, but a few lines of something like that and get it in the newsletter.
Sure.
like that study is going on and there is an option. We do try to put informational pieces in,
Yeah.
but maybe we should formalize that a little bit with Peg, and put aside a little bit of the newsletter for that,
Yeah, good
on a
idea.
regular basis.
Good idea.
I attended the memory webinar that the senior center provided. Peg was on it. And the book, of course, I can't remember what the book's name was, but it was very, very good. And now I'm on a list and I get more information. And I think memory is something that we're all working on as we age, and it was really good. Thank you.
Joyce, do you think we should rerun that program again, like after Christmas or into the spring? Was it-
Absolutely. It was just so well done and so informative and to the point, no rambling on. It was very good.
That's good feedback, because I was leaning in that direction. So it sounds like it would be worth doing again, picking up a new audience maybe later on in the year.
Good. Any other new
I think
business?
Peg enjoyed it.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Joyce.
Bay Pass, we had a virtual meeting, and the new director continues to delve forward. I don't know where Joe Kirk gets his energy, but he's doing a great job. There is a new board member from Northborough, and also Bay Path received a large grant from DRCU. And Bay Path is very grateful for that. So that's all I have.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. The next meeting is November 6th. I'll try to make sure everybody gets out these meeting notes ahead of time and the agenda ahead of time. And, it'll still be one of these Zoom meetings. Any other business before us? Vanessa?
Sorry, Doug, I just wanted to make one comment, just in case folks hadn't realized this, but Southborough was designated a red community on Wednesday by the state
Yes.
because of our increase in cases. So, we're just trying to get the message out through public health and other vehicles, how vigilant people really need to be, because, now we're up there. We've had an increase of, I forget the exact number, 8 or 10 cases in the last 10 days. So, being outside as much as you can, even though I know it's getting cooler, and making sure people are really strict about the masks is the message we're trying to get out to all our groups.
Is there like a particular area of town that's high hit, or is it spread through town? I don't know.
I don't think so, Carol. I don't have access to the cases. It just goes right to the Department of Public Health.
Such a small town. I was just wondering if it's localized or if it's just spread throughout. Where we're such a small town, it probably doesn't matter anyway. But
right. And I don't know the specifics of that. We're not. We don't have that level.
I know they don't identify people. I was just wondering if there's
right. To my knowledge,
one family of 8 was hit,
Yeah, I don't think so. Mark talked to the Department of Public Health yesterday, and, they wanted to go over, was it one thing in particular? We don't think it was necessarily one thing in particular, but we know that, kids are back in school and families are still socializing. So that's why the masks are so critical right now.
Okay, thank you.
Vanessa, while we have you, you put up the message a few minutes ago that the selectmen want a quarterly report. When?
Yeah, so
when is that?
the board recently, when they did their goal setting, they talked about trying to talk with departments other than at budget season, when we're trying to find money and cut money. So they really want to spend time during the rest of the year talking to departments about what they're doing and what they're offering, and do they have any anything they want to publicize to the community and so forth. So I really think, based on your comments earlier, Pam, that the COA should try and get on one of those agendas soon.
Okay.
We're meeting by Zoom. We met once in person to do their goal setting report, but especially now that we're a red community, we are not even talking about in-person meetings. So we're continuing to meet on Zoom for many months to come.
Okay, so next week I will put together a letter with those newsletters and kind of get that out with a request.
Yeah.
To maybe
Okay,
meet
that'd
with
be great.
Good.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion to end the meeting?
So moved. Joyce.
Second?
Second.
Second.
Who's second?
Russ.
Russ.
I think it was Carol.
Well,
Carol, Russ.
Go on.
Well, thank you for everybody. This has been,
Wait a minute, there's got to be a roll call vote.
oh, roll call vote. Carol, all in favor? Carol?
yes.
Russ?
Yes.
Brent?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Doug? Yes.
Thanks, Marie, for keeping us in order.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Marie.
Thank you, Doug
Okay.
and Bree.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy this
Thanks,
beautiful
guys.
day.
Thanks for your help too, Vanessa.
Yeah, thanks, Vanessa.
Yeah,
Have a
All
good
right,
weekend,
we'll see
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.
Beautiful weekend.
Bye.
take care. Russ, we'll see you at DMC sometime. Come on over.